everybody, my name is Jessica Holyfield and I'm a professional dance choreographer and dance educator based out of the southeast of the United States. And we're going to be taking a look at match number 4 of round 8 of D.LEAGUE 2023-2024 season. It's going to be between avex Royalbrats and Benefit One Monoliz. Gonna be a very interesting matchup, I think, because Monoliz, some of their concepts are so captivating, and they are probably some of the best in the game in terms of choreographic whacking in Vogue. It is amazing watching them every week, and their concepts are super, super dope. With avex, I think for them, sometimes they take super, super risky risks, and depends on who they're up against, really sometimes determines how it fares. So I'm excited. It's going to be a very unpredictable matchup, I think. I don't know who's going to take it, but that's what makes it really fun. So without further ado, let's go ahead and check it out.
Du kan fake, du kan dove, s'il vous plaît. Cigarette, s'il vous plaît. Papier, s'il vous plaît. Cassette, s'il vous plaît. S'il vous plaît.
Do they have mustaches on? Yeah, some of them do. This is really fun. That was so cute. Oh man. Okay, so concept I think is very clear. You got 4 chefs and you got 4 waiters, and I love the fact that some of them have this aggressively large beard or mustache that matches their hair color. This is hilarious. Also, a very, very difficult polyrhythm was taking place in this very beginning with the knife chop. That was so, I was just so captivated in this beginning. Now, do I think that, I mean, I understand for him, he took a very, like, extroverted approach, and I do feel like it was very loud in movement in comparison to the He could still do the same thing, but, like, tone it down maybe by, like, 2 degrees, but I also know where your judges are, and they're pretty far away, so you want to have a really good presentation and projection of who needs to be our feature in that moment. So, like, I understand that, and it could just be more of a preference, subjective preference on that, but to me, it did feel a little bit too loud for just that sound that we were registering with. But I do like, you know, having this little lollipop here. I think that's what it was. He licks it. Fun. Everybody's kind of cleaning up, getting ready for the start of the shift. Love it. Great, you know, usage of having people, great spacing, honestly. The table, he takes it. He starts chopping. This is where things get like super, super interesting for my feature right here. So if you notice, he's going to have to accent with his head at some point, but he has to keep this going for a good solid probably 2-3-8 counts. And everybody's still you know, creating, having a nice moment. So he's still going. He has to still act and still allow this chop to still be happening. It's very prolonged, and it makes you go, oh, wow. It has a degree of impressiveness to it. Then you have your first guy come in. So everyone's saying, yeah. So he's giving an order, but notice the order is on a completely different BPM, or it's not even relevant to this tapping that's taking place. That is so freaking tricky. So he has to not only keep chopping, but at certain word cues, he has to nod his head. That is so tricky. He says, come on. So he's saying, hey, so this is a really fun little add-on here. It's a little bit off from my first guy doing the add-on, but everybody else is still there. So he's taking it. He's no longer, chopping as much. So they're all saying, hey, we have a bunch of orders. They're like, you're kidding. I love that. They come up. Now, of course, it's just really subtle range things. So we see them do the movement, but you notice that these two guys in the back didn't quite bring their arm up to the same degree as my guys in front. Those little details, I feel, are kind of like give and take. If that happens too often, then it's not going to make us feel or appreciate the overall choreography as much as if it was that crisp and cleanness. Now, we do know that Royalbrats is known for their cleanliness, just like Katakawa is. But in this type of concept, if you're thinking concept in isolation, when you have the differentiation of the different roles, you want to make sure that those that are within the same kind of costuming, they need to be on the same level or the degree of execution of the style that you want them to justify as that representative within your concept. So that's why for me, those little details can really help advocate for that representation. So taking this here, I really love this, dun, 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 because if you notice, half of them were up, half were down, but if they weren't clean from the get-go, it's hard to see this differentiation take place between your two groups. But I love this here where it all bleeds the energy down, and then you have your waiters, they pull, nice little whoa happening there. They're panning it around the back. You have all of your chefs, cooking, prepping away. I love that they come in, the little hops here. Very nice into the mirroring on this. Super dope in the two lines. Bringing it through. And there wasn't a single point where it felt imbalanced because of the even numbers. Great. He takes it. He goes dun 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 into the little dig. It's just fun. He takes it and they drop it a little bit lower. Little taps there. It's nice to showcase a little unison. Some people don't have as much flexibility in their leg as others do. I love that little dot, dot, dot. It's nice. It does remind me of Stray Kids, God's Menu a little bit, which is funny. The drop down, not everybody is quite leaned to that degree as others are. They come in, ding, 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 which is nice. Tapping it through, ding, 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 ding. Now, some of you may be like, Jess, you weren't this analytical or this strict on the synchronicity in some of the other groups that we saw in the matchups compared to this one. The reason why is you have to think about the type of context of techniques that they're doing. They're not doing a funk track. They're not doing a social environmental track. They're doing a concept, a specific concept. But not only that, the techniques that they're using to justify it, what makes them captivating is the synchronicity element of it. Not just the movement itself and not just the essence of, oh, we're kind of in the ballpark. And that's not the concept we're calling for, nor is it the genres. It's not like we're doing a ton of locking. Like we're doing a lot of syncopated moments. We're doing a lot of heavy isolations, but to the degree of arm placements, not so much as isolations with the chest and things like that, if that makes sense. So it makes sense for me to have to naturally expect more synchronicity to help carry their point across more here because they're not relying upon a soul era, they're not relying upon a genre funk track, they're not relying upon any of those things. And also the track is a builded, like it's a built and stacked type of track where there's a lot of moments to exude in polyrhythm. So in order for us to truly appreciate the polyrhythm moments that aren't really defined within a particular style, you have to have synchronicity on your side in order to do that, right? So that's why I'm a little bit stricter on synchronicity for this type of concept, because that's what carries the performance quality of it. But I do like having everybody, doing their own little thing, one with the pan, others with not. Then having the waiters is super fun. I love the footwork on this. Super dope. I love that with the da-da-da. I know Junpei is someone who choreographed this. We also say thank you to Junpei because he and Satsuki are the ones that are how I got onto D.LEAGUE. So we say thank you. Anyway, but I love the switch. It's really fun. It's gimmicky. It's childlike, but in like a really great way. I love how they chose to make this like a little fixed point action. And they're turning it around. I love that choice. And I love how they took the carts and turned them around to help match with the waiters. All the chefs are down underneath. They go and they take it. They said, here we go. We're ready. They said, okay. They're looking. They're like, yeah, we're here. Woo, nice party. And everyone's party harding. Everybody makes their own individual choice. But notice that the overall dynamic is the same, hence why it's easier to make an individual choice. It goes chest to hips, which is nice. They all go switch it around. So it's important that they don't drop it until it is appropriate to drop it. So you have your chefs that are like, okay, great, we're tired. The waiters are going, they're bringing their stuff. They look down, nice little nay-nay, and then they all drop it. They all drop it over the side. The lighting really helps with this. The chefs wake up. They are upset. Now, here's something interesting though. You have 3 out of 4 of them hop over. For me personally, I know he probably either he didn't have room or the timing of the transition of the carts was going to be impacted if he also jumps. I really think he should have jumped with them. It didn't look as clean, and it kind of felt like he was making a modification for stage versus it was an appropriate part of the chef's concept, right? So that would be my general note I would say about that. I would either say everybody needs to make a different choice to hop over, or everybody needs to hop over the same way. So that's my note for that. So the waiters are upset. They are getting reprimanded. And so it's just really fun seeing all the different interactions. They're running around. Ding, 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 ding. I really like that. The reset. And then having your chefs in the middle and then having your waiters out on the outside is really nice seeing that. Great formation choice. Good unison. Do I feel though it's I mean, that was a nice little add-on. Kind of feels more formulated here in comparison to the first time we saw the unison section. So that would be my note. Maybe vary it up in dynamics or something. But I love it though. Like, don't get me wrong. I absolutely love this choice. It looks so freaking sick. Spacing's a little bit off with our chefs, but I like our waiters creating a nice little level representation where you have your chefs setting up the carts in the middle. This is amazing. I love this choice where it kind of looks like he is slaving away right here, using and prepping all this stuff, and you have your waiters just kind of, you know, being irresponsible. But you know, I love that. The 0 level of the head ISO influence stability check there looks great. I love the slow motion on that too. It's important that everybody has a really good stability check, and they all did. It looks great. Taking it around, turning it in with a little head there. Super fun. From there, I love that they take it, and instead of just like hopping it, they have a little extra hop into it as well. So it has a viral influence to it, but it still has, like, it's competent. It's amazing to see this. Being around, then you have all your chefs come back in. I love this little dolphin. When he goes, all go in, he goes, hey, here we go. Bon appetit. And they go, haha. And then he has a little lollipop. That was really, really enjoyable. Definitely probably one of my favorite avex concepts they've done. That is so humorous, and I think it was definitely the performance quality of it was right up there. That was super fun. Let's go ahead and check out Benefit 1 Monoliz.
One night.
Oh, hello.
What love is.
Ooh.
I wanna know you. And the city wide. Could you understand?
Oh. Oh, that's what you call an appropriate costume transition. That is gorgeous. Wow. Nice. Wow. Nice. Wow. So with whacking and locking represented, God, it's so fun. Yes.
One night only.
Wow. Wow. All right, concept. Late night bar, only open at nights. Nice, and it's just a nice little party showcasing, you know, the hustle, a little bit of a New York hustle and whacking, which I think they definitely exuded so well. Oh, okay. Audience, who would I pick audience-wise? When it comes to performance and just like not really up to any type of criteria for me, I would pick avex for this. I really liked avex's performance. I really liked how they structured it. Looks really cool. But would they win if I did the actual criteria? Whose item would take what? That I don't know. But for me, I really, really enjoyed avex's performance. But this, on a skill side, phenomenal. Like, they did exactly what I gave a note to Dip Battles on. You don't want it to look labored when you take a costume piece off or you're transitioning from one costume to another. You never want it to be something where it's like, oh, we're changing costume. It's a, oh, we're changing costume. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's about the intention of it. You don't want it to take away from your story. You want it to add. And here it added. Dip Battles, unfortunately, it felt more labored, right? So that's something that really worked in their favor here specifically. Love it. You have the little saxophone action. It's the mischievous, sensual saxophone. I love the feature in the beginning. It's gorgeous. Now, yes, you can see that we have the fringe or a dress, but it actually looks more like an accent underneath the existing dress. It doesn't look like its own costume until they took it off. So there's that little element. So I think that was a really fun choice that they made here. Love that. We take it. She says, hello. And he goes, oh, hi there. She goes, oh, don't mind if I do. Leg extension, gorgeous. He takes it. The dip there, really nice, very stable. And you have it, we're at a bar now. You have one of those like rich, suave bar clerks, and you have two gentle fellows, is what they would call it. So there's two special performers, which is really fun. Oh, and I love just taking this dun dun dun. Love it. Some of them really did bleed that had a little bit of round, a little bit more than some of the others did, but I love it. It looks great. That little dip, dip, da da da. I love that here. Boom, da 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 da. This is a gorgeous progression. That was so pretty. I love it. With the stability on lifting that leg. Oh, so fun. Taking it, boom, da 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 da. Really fun seeing that as well. The pull through, boom. I really love that energy as well. Then right there, they pop it open in the turn. Very smart. And then from here, they are picked up. They take it, nice little pairing, little ballroom action. The guys, they take the arms up and then they do a nice little tap, little toe tap happening. And it was really nice, seamless transition to get that jacket off. Very, very smart. That means that they worked on the logistics of this costume change. They weren't like, oh, we'll figure it out day of. They added it as part of the choreography. And that is a really good choreographer, you know, choice that was made. I love that. I love that digging. Boom. I love that choice bringing it back in. Now, I will say they are doing a fantastic job in the sense of the ballroom vibes of the pairings, because it can look very awkward very quickly if you're not familiar with it. So for me, I feel like we've done a lot of, you know, refinement to make sure we are all on the same page in how we're executing it. The range on their extensions is gorgeous. I mean, look at this. Like, that is so impressive. Like, that is very, very clean. So they've done a great job on that front. Looks great. Then you have your dancers in the back creating a nice little moment that goes on the tone of the female voice. I love this. Da, 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 da. Now having you have more of that locking influence on the outside, and then you have your ladies in the middle. But then you have that bartender, you know, kind of joining as well. I love that. Da, dun, da, dun, da, dun, da. So it's properly framed with a different outfit. So I just feel like that all the formations, it's very balanced, not just in, you know, formation symmetry, but also in costuming. And I always am a fan of that. I have noted that a couple of times in other instances, not really with D.LEAGUE, but with, I think it was like Street Dance Girl Fighter, is when I really made a note about it during one of the challenges, where it just creates an off balance if you have a costume change and you have this one outlier and they're not in center, but then you have everybody else in a different costume. You know, it just promotes an unnecessary degree of imbalance. But here, it just feels considerate. It feels considered and it feels appropriate. Like, it just makes sense, right? So I'm definitely a fan of that for sure. I love just the energy where you have the accents happening. They're hitting more the level representation in the upper part with the stylized hands. Then you have your guys doing more hustle influence in the bottom. Looks great. Love that. Then you have your ladies do a nice little transition over to the side. Then you have your guys. Whew, it's just fun. I love that. Da, 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 da. It's just beautiful. And this is why it's important to know the difference between locking and whacking. Yes, they do. They look similar. The stylized hand, the culture is different, and how you carry your posture is also very different. They come from different pockets of the country in America. So in a different demographic of individuals who participated in it socially and culturally. So it's so interesting to be able to, I guess, like all that to say, if you understand the difference between locking and whacking, you can appreciate how impressive it is that they made it so cohesive the way that they did. It's so nice. I love it. But then right here, he's taking more of a, he took a more of like Vogue whacking influence there. My guy did. But then my other guy took a more locking influence. That was so subtle, but you could really tell. I love that. Yeah. You could tell because of, it's the stylus, it's the hand, and also how you progressed it with the arch. I'm such a fan, and I love that. Just the partner work on that is gorgeous. Taking it down, bringing it around. I do like the usage of this kind of bar stool thing. It does feel similar to what we saw with our chefs from avex, but very different. But I do like it. It takes her around the back. I love that little Vogue, ding, 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 boom. Nice little legography there. Swinging it through. I love that. And the ladies very seamlessly drop down, still having one as the accent in the center. And having your two guys do nice little partner work sections, just a little switcheroo. Just those transitions are so nice. And then as they take the prop, open it up, make it in the corner, she goes, boom, really great feature moment. Yeah, and I think they were supposed to like grab hands there, but they didn't quite, and that's okay. But yeah, one dive, bum, 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 bum. So it caused a little spacing issue, but then we got right back into it, no problem. Great front walk over into a drop. Looks great. Da, 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 da. And then right here, you have more of your locker and a little whacking influence on this. Love that. Hitting it around. Love that choice. Partner work once again. And the partner work is not like overly simple either. And that's something to appreciate. It doesn't look like it's a dip in energy with the partner work. Like it could very well be. And it's just as clean as their other whacking variants, which is very impressive. And then having your ladies who don't have a partner, they're doing a fantastic job. Switching it through, they're doing movement that is complementary to the partnering, but they're also showcasing different level representation through the arms, which really helps make it more, more varied, which is what you want to have. Switching it through. Yeah, and then you have your group, so you have your two, and then you have your single in the middle. I love that. And then right here, you go to a little cartwheel action. Great timing. That was gorgeous. Dun, 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 dun. Gosh, and the lighting really helped with that too. A little swing around, spacing just slightly off, but nothing super crazy. They fix it, boom. But also it makes sense though, like, I mean, they're a little bit varied, like they're not super in line because they could whack each other's heads. But it is nice that they're very similar to where you have it's just so equally yoked. Like you don't have anybody stick out in a negative way, nor in a way where it takes away from what everybody else's quality of movement is. This was a fantastic concept on them, and they did a wonderful job integrating their special performers, the outfits, and it was balanced the entire time. Usage of prop was great as well, and the levels were just chef's kiss. Okay, so now here we go. Who would get what? Skill. I think Benefit 1 would get skill because they had, I think it's the difficulty. For me, I would go off of difficulty in the sense of their variants that they did, as well as their transitions, their level representation. I know some of that can dive into choreo, but if you're looking at the actual execution of movement, they had more complexity throughout their routine in comparison to what avex brought. Conceptually, creativity-wise, I would give it to avex because it is very creative how they showcase their costuming, as well as their prop usage, as well as their formations and level representation to carry a story. Lighting really helped with it as well, and it really matched the tone of their track extensively. It was wonderful. Choreography, I would give it to Benefit 1 because of a very similar reason. If you look at, well, you know what? I would give it'd be a toss-up. It just depends on what a judge deems as choreography. For me, it would probably be your formations, your levels, dynamics, your texture, your musicality integration. I would say both groups held it down pretty well. Benefit One just had more complexity behind it. They had more partner work showcased. They did have more features. So if you're looking at like collective, I would say avex had more like collective interaction. In this case, they had more featured partner work interaction. So I think it's kind of at the eye of the beholder for that. For style, I would give it to Benefit One because of their authenticity in pocket, and it was really clear seeing the difference between whacking and locking. And perfection. Ooh. Part of me wants to give it to Benefit One because they were cleaner. They had more stability within their transitions. Their costume changes were second to none. There wasn't nearly as many range issues in theirs as I saw in avex. So when it comes to the actual cleanliness of a routine, I think Benefit One had that. So for me, it looks like Benefit One would win in comparison, but I do think avex took audience vote. So it could very well be a tie. It could look like a tie. I know for me, based on my criteria, Benefit One would have taken my vote. But this was incredible. Both, like, this is such a fun matchup. I love watching matchups where, like, they both hold it down so well that it can be anybody's game, truly. Like, this was super, super fun. Thank you guys so much for taking the time to watch. If you want to see more D.LEAGUE, I have it coming. I'm definitely always been a fan of just taking a look at every round and every match and seeing what each crew brings to the table. I've just really enjoyed my time just in general and just being able to be more familiar with how the criteria and the feedback of the judges work. So I feel like I have a better understanding of how these would be scored based on the criteria they do have. But also, once again, I'm only going off of a Google translation from Japanese on a lot of the feedback as well as on the criteria. It's not super clear, and you can have a lot of, you know, differentiation between what they're really looking for. So all that to say, I think it's totally fine if I'm completely wrong on all these, but also it's just been really fun to be able to appreciate dance in this way and just see the differences in the matchups. Once again, my name is Jess. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch, and I'll catch you on the flip side. Bye.